Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for stopping by and in this COVID atmosphere. I see everybody has their mask on and we're a little apart in social distancing, so I appreciate that. Today I'm giving notice that I'm appointing a new police chief to the city of Youngstown. I want to personally take this time to thank Chief Lees for his efforts and working hard on the behalf of this administration and for his years of service to the citizens of Youngstown. And after reviewing and assessing the needs of YPD and the community, I have decided to seek leadership from within the ranks. That is an important piece I want you to hear, because I know we have great men and women in the Youngstown Police Department, and that's why I decided to go internal first. We have great men and women who are serving the city, and I wanted to give them opportunity to lead their department into the 21st century. So it is with great pleasure and honor to announce that I have found someone within YPD. Effective 1601 today, January 15, 2021, I am appointing Detective Sergeant Carl Davis to the position of Youngstown Police Chief. Detective Sergeant Carl Davis looks forward to being of service to his community and comes highly recommended by local community members and his fellow men and women of YPD. He has a vision and a plan for what he would like to achieve in the future for YPD. His focus will be on establishing trust in the community, creating preventative opportunities, and building relationships that will affect the Youngstown area. At this time, I would like to take this moment to introduce to you the next police chief of the Youngstown Police Department, Chief Carl Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for coming here today. But before I start, I just want to let you know this is the Lord's doing. I don't shy away from my faith. The Book of Psalms tells us that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And these steps that I take today, these are some big steps, and this is the Lord's doing. My main objective and goal is to restore confidence in the Youngstown Police Department. I like to regain the trust of the community. I have my staff and I, we're going to get together. We're going to come up with some strategies to rebuild this trust. I'm going to be using some of our younger talent. We have a group of talented young men and women in the Youngstown Police Department. Some who I feel have been not utilized, but we're going to go in a different direction. We're going to try some new things. And again, thank you very much. Okay. Also, first of all, I want to thank my wife, who's been right here by my side, and thank you, honey, for everything. Love you so much. My dad, Mr. Neil Davis, this is the man that's made me who I am today, and I thank God for my father. Thank you, Dad, for coming down. And my good friend, Lieutenant Brian Butler, I'm going to be leaning on you, man. And we're going to get some things done. Thank you so much.
So I guess we'll take a few questions from the media at this time, right now. You look at it, 35 years of service to the city of Youngstown, lifelong resident of the city of Youngstown, and just his conversation about what I was looking for, what his vision was for this community, but also for the department. He spoke well about the men and women that are already there, but he also spoke well about how he wanted to get out into community and really re-engage or engage his community where he grew up. So that was a deciding factor for me. We talked about social service and mental health issues, and he talked about licensed social workers that are already in the chaplaincy program that we can use out in the community. So it was right on point in the vision that we wanted to take this department in the 21st century. And it takes effect today? 1601. 1601 today. he will take on the reins of police chief, and we will follow up with a ceremonial swearing in for the chief in the next week or so.
Mayor, when you talk about change of philosophy when Chief Lee stepped down, can you get a little more in depth with what is the new philosophy and what was lacking in the other philosophy?
I think I'll let Chief Davis talk about his philosophy of and talking about dealing with people and getting out in the community, or the community policing. I think it's all about the relationships, and we talked about body cam. So there's all kinds of pieces that are out there, but I'm gonna let the chief tell you.
Okay. And Chief Lees, we're going to just expand on some of the things that Chief Lees already had, some of the things he had in place. We're going to expand on some of those. My top priority is to get more engaged in the community. I like to involve, even when we go into the body cameras, I like to involve the community when we roll out that. There's layers of things involved in that, but I like to get the community involved. I want to be totally transparent on everything we're doing. So it's not that, I thought Chief Lees did a great job, but we're going to just expand on some of the things that he was doing.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Chief, do you have any initiatives planned that maybe Chief Lees wasn't doing that you want to start?
Well, the mayor and I also talked, there's a dynamic involved, the social media. We like to maybe engage the community in social media forums with maybe the chief of detectives one week, maybe the following week with the family services unit. We're going to be moving in that direction. Those are some things that we were not doing.
Chief, you've been in Youngstown a long time, obviously. If you had to sum up the state of Youngstown, where it is right now as far as policing goes, what do you see in the city?
Well, as you know, Youngstown is a great community. I've been here all my life, born and raised here, but we have some issues. We have some issues with violence, the shootings. I would like to, like I said, get the community tap into some of our the resources that we have here in the Youngstown Police Department and get the community more engaged.
Is that officers one-to-one meeting people with the community, and how do you do that during
That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah, one of the things.
How do you approach that with pandemic going on, things like that? Is that more difficult?
It's going to be a challenge. Yes, it is going to be challenging. But I'm going to meet with my staff, and we're going to work out some strategies.
One of the things we talked about, and it was a great philosophy, and you talked about philosophy earlier, is that we don't want to just go into the neighborhoods when there's crime happening. We want to go in there when it's not. Getting the officers out of the car, getting them to know their community, getting them to know the quality of life issues. If there are quality of life issues, they're the ears and eyes that are there every day for many hours on a shift to really get a sense of the neighborhood and on their beat. That people get a chance to know them, and I think that's going to be a different philosophy. When you don't have time, when it's not a crime, that we just go out and make sure we get to know those people who live in that area. All right, thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate it. Go ahead. You're dead.
Pastor Simon, Kenny Simon, thank you, sir, for coming down. This is the pastor of the church that I attend. We're going to also be involving the clergy more. There's not a church, and the mayor and I talked about this, probably most churches in Youngstown. There's some of the victims in the shootings or some of the people committing some of the crimes. Family members attend those churches. So we're going to definitely be doing some things involving getting clergy more involved.
Chief, do you have any strategies as far as laying out strategies to help people in the communities get involved maybe more with the church? Is that just a communication thing?
Well, we have the community police, but we're going to make every officer a community police officer. And like I said, I'll be meeting with my staff, and we're going to put our heads together and come up with some other strategies. But my main objective is to rebuild the trust and confidence in the Youngstown Police Department. There's a lot of mistrust right now, and I like to. That's one area I like to mend.
Why is that lacking?
Pardon me?
Why is that lacking?
That's a good question.
Not a good answer.
That's a good question. We're going to work on that.
You'll work to find out the reasons why.
Yeah.
Can you give me a little history of when you were hired?
Okay.
You didn't get a pressure? You got a pressure? Did I send out? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
I was hired in 1986. Matter of fact, a lot of the young men and women on our police department, some of them were not even born then. I've been around since 1986. I've witnessed the city evolve. We've made some great strides in the Youngstown Police Department as far as minority hiring, and I like to see that continue. I've worked in the patrol division. I worked as a supervisor in the patrol division. I served 14 years in the detective division as a detective sergeant investigating property crimes. The last 5 years I've worked as an investigator in the internal affairs division.
When did you get promoted to detective sergeant?
In 1999.
You said the last 5 were internal affairs.
Yes, sir.
Your comment on your relationship with the men and women working under you right now, pretty good relationship in your opinion?
I think so. Matter of fact, I've been overwhelmed by the confidence that some of my peers have shown in these last couple of days. This entire process was unfolding. So yeah, real good relationship. I was raised, my dad, my mom and dad always taught me to treat others as, you would like others to treat you. And I carried that philosophy with me all my life and all my career in the Youngstown Police Department.
Mayor, how many people did you consider interview for the position?
So we had 3 that showed interest internally, and I interviewed 2 of them. Anybody else? Thought? Huh?
Who were they?
Oh, I'll forward it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I can send you the resumes. Anybody else? Any thoughts? Listen, thank you guys for coming out. We look forward to working with you and continuing the great work that's happening in the Youngstown Police Department.